All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dowell. You know, we live in a time and we live in a day, we live in an hour where there is systemic racism all across this earth. Religious people like to make everybody think that they have a monopoly on truth simply because they other words and they say words. Well, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you about the lot of inheritance and the way of the marriage order or the tribal affiliation according to the commandment of Yahweh, the commandment of the Lord given by his custodian Moses. Over in Numbers, the 36th chapter, it actually breaks down not only the tribal affiliation and how inheritance is supposed to be had from one tribe unto the next, because other people had a systemic fear that if a daughter in Israel end up getting married to someone of another tribe, that the inheritance would be removed. Well, think about this for the day. Before I get started on this, I want you to listen to me very closely. There are people out here that falsely teach against interracial marriage, but they don't give you the truth of that. If someone come like Ruth, a Moabite, and she says what Ruth says, your people will be my people and your God will be my God, that she ends up being married into Israel to Boaz, and out of her or through her comes the line of David all the way up to Jesus. I took it slow for a reason, because you see, contrary to these false doctrines that they have out there, Ruth was a Moabite, period. And there is a lot that has to be desired. Think about this for a second. Rahab was a Canaanite, and Yahshua, the Messiah, Israel, came through that woman right there. That's the reason why it says over in Exodus 12, 48, 49, one law shall be to him that is homeborn and him to the stranger. Now, how's that contrast to the racism and the political incorrectness of today? I'll tell you how that contrasts. You got people out here that's telling you that, all right, I'll give you an example. Let's just be for real, all right? Let me just be frank and for real. It's obvious when you look at me that I'm a black man. I'm a black man, and I have all the black features: no wide nose, the acorn eyes like Hebrews have, the sheep woolly hair. You know, it's obvious I'm a black man, okay? You got people out here lying all over people, telling people that Hawaiians, Panamanians, anybody other than what you would call the Caucasians, watch this down for a second, are so-called Israelites. And let's just be real. Those people don't look like us. They do not look like us. They have the long horse hair. We have wool, sheep hair. That's the way that the tribes of Israel do. But you got people out here telling you that these people are natural bloodline Israelites. Are you following me? And they threw it through this false, made-up, sorry doctrine of this 12 tribes of Israel, and they meet people and tell you, oh yeah, you are of this tribe. There's just lying all over the place on people. And then, watch this. They will go and intermarry with these people simply because they say that they're Israelites. But a black man better not marry a white woman. Watch this. A black man better not marry a white woman that fears Yahweh Elohim, just like Ruth did and said, your people will be my people and your God will be my God. Or a black woman better not marry a white man who fears Yahweh Elohim. And of course, again, I think that people have a problem with discernment. It could be that all these GMO modified foods and all this pasteurization of the milk, the dairy products that's going on today is binding to some type of receptors in the minds of people today. And it's causing them to have this schizophrenic, nonsensical perspectives and point of views. But you think about this for a second. When you go to Acts chapter 16 and you see that Timotheus had a father who was a Greek, it's automatically assumed and alleged when you hear Greek that he was a white man. But then it says that her mother was a Jewishness, which was she was an Israelitish. You know, the translations messed that all up. But anyway, and that's assumed that she is a black woman. And yet and still, Paul on his missionary journey, because Paul was mistaken for an Egyptian, that means he was mistaken to be a black man. And it's amazing because, you know, Israel often could go off into Egypt, just like the Messiah did, and hide. And just like he said over in Hosea 11, out of Egypt I have called my son. Because, you see, when we could go into Egypt, we could hide and blend in and be amongst those people, and nobody could tell any difference. And the proof of that is when Joseph went into Egypt, and his own brothers saw him and couldn't even recognize him. Could not recognize him. But if, let's say, if Egypt was white and Israel was black and we went off in there, it would have been easy for Joseph to be recognized. So you see, there's a lot of racism on both sides, both black and whites. And the white people started it because they painted all the icons white. They've whitewashed everything throughout history, and then they get offended when the truth comes. Now, I don't care about people's offense, your personal opinion, your feelings. I ain't never seen none bleed, so you're all right, and you will be all right. And, of course, if you don't like this video, then turn it off and thumbs it down and go somewhere else. But one thing's for sure, I probably won't be putting too much out like this as far as doctrine goes, unless it's on my Patreon channel, because I ain't got time to deal with nonsensical, illiterate, spiritually retarded people who have a low base mindset that will never accomplish anything in life. But anyway, let's go on. So you see how I'm putting all these proof texts together, because the way that people understand interracial marriage or racism today is totally different than the way that the Bible spoke back then, because the Bible spoke about nationalities, okay? And so you had Moses marrying what you would call a Hamite, you know, the Cushite woman. Now think about that. Is that not race mixing as well? You see, some people, they got this thing so bad, they just paint a broad brush and just assume that everybody of every nation is racist just like they are, or racist just like the evil that's been perpetuated against certain people, and that's just simply not true. And most of you, they have broken up your homes and broken up your families with these false doctrines, because they dominate you, they manipulate you, and they coerce you because they know you don't know the word, you don't know the scriptures. That's the reason why you have all these coons coming out against me, and the reason why they come out against me, because I say something other than their racist doctrine, and I give you concrete evidence according to the book. Now, you can choose to listen to these foolish people if you want to, but remember, the blind lead the blind, and they both fall into the ditch. And you'll know if you're falling into a ditch or you have been led by the blind, because your life is going to reflect it. And that's all there's to it. And let's get back to the subject at hand. In Numbers 36, Israel, they had a tribe of Joseph and them that was concerned about the inheritance, and they was concerned about marriage. Now, listen to me very closely. I don't want you to miss this, because you're going to see how stupid and nonsensical this racism is. Inheritance was very important in Israel, because if you had, you've got 12 tribes in Israel, and even the Most High Yah himself made laws. He made laws to make sure that the inheritance doesn't jump from one tribe to the next. Did y'all hear what I said? And let me throw this in there. Israel was a warring people. If I went to war and I saw a damsel there that I had desire for, we have laws. You know what that law is? It didn't make no difference of my marriage status. The bottom line says, I went to war, Israel, and I saw a damsel there, war bride, you know, part of the price of the booty of war, and I had desire unto her. The book says that what I do is I bring her back to the camp, to the tribe, and I shave her head and pare her nails and let her mourn her parents for 30 days. And then afterwards, I could go in unto her. You will never hear that preached in Christianity. And you will never hear that amongst these false camps that actually go against everything that the book says, and by creating their own doctrine, because they're false prophets, false teachers, false leaders. Sorry, I'm digressing so much, but it builds. Now, let's go on. Okay. So they were concerned about actually having, you know, their daughters marrying even someone of another tribe, because they felt like the inheritance would be taken away from that tribe. So Moshe, the custodian of the law, by the instructions of the Most High Yah, said this is what you're going to do. Now watch this. If we had marriage laws, even concerning a woman going from one tribe to the next, would we not have marriage laws today that should be mimicking the same thing? Because you got these fake, phony, false Israelites today, so-called Israelites. They're going out and marrying Mexicans, they're marrying Puerto Ricans, they're marrying Panamanians, they're marrying Hawaiians, they're marrying Indians, they're marrying everybody that don't even look like them. Now, don't get me wrong. Am I against that? No, I'm not against that at all. But what I'm showing you is that the hypocrisy is staggering. It's literally staggering that goes on today. And I am sure that this bizarre behavior is deeply and collectively embedded in the subconscious mind of man, and not even the Most High Yah himself can remove it because it's demonically inspired. Now, you think about that. They are marrying, according to their little false, phony chart, people of other tribes, women of other tribes and stuff, because none of them ain't got no inheritance because they all broke as hell. And the reason why they broke as hell because they won't follow the law, statutes, and commandments. And that's just a fact. So anyway, they're doing all this, but then they turn around and then with their base, low-minded eyesight and attitude, they'll look at someone and try to judge them based on the color or non-color of their skin. It is nonsensical. It is off of the chain. Henceforth, that's the reason why y'all scattered us in every nation and made sure that we didn't even have a place we could call our own, because we that damn stupid as a people. And that is the truth. We are that damn stupid as a people. We have these laws, statutes, and commandments, and y'all made us better than any people on the face of planet Earth. He has given us these laws, statutes, and commandments. We have the Most High as our creator, and we spurned it. We basically just shit on it. That's what we did. And as a result, we're sitting up here on the tail end of all this exile and this dysphoria, experiencing all these curses because our parents was rebellious as hell. And if you look at the way that these people talk and behave today, you can tell that the bloodline curses are real, because look at the way they even process thought and look at the way they think. So in Numbers 36, if you had a woman that was an Israelite that was married to a man and her husband died, she couldn't even be free to go out and marry one of another tribe. If she was in the tribe of Joseph, she could not go to the tribe of Reuben and marry a man. She would only have to marry inside of that tribe. If you had daughters in that tribe right there, the book even says that, you know, that's fine and good. You can get married and stuff, but the inheritance was to stay right there in that tribe. In other words, the inheritance was passed from father to son. But if you had a father that had only daughters, listen to me very carefully, and they were in the tribe of Joseph, so that the lot and parcel of land, the inheritance, and everything that came with it would not go out to the other tribes, Moses commanded that those daughters only marry of the sons of Joseph in the tribe wherewith they were born. Period. Point blank. Why ain't nobody preaching about this today? Somebody say, PastorDowell, keep cracking that whip because you got their ass. Oh, yeah, I know I do. I just thought I'd let this out because now they're going to go and try to dissect and dissect this and stuff. It makes no difference. There's plenty more from where this come from. Are you getting your fool yet? You getting your feel yet? Because, see, if I ever had a chance to debate one of these base-minded leaders, because that's the only people I'm going to debate. And by the way, let me say this. It was probably about maybe 7, 8 years ago. Sal from Blog Talk Radio, what they did was they baited me into what was supposed to be a conversation with one person. Next thing you know, I got 3 of these so-called IUICs on one side, and Sal knew exactly what he was doing, and he wondered why come I haven't been on Debate Talk ever since then. Because people don't provide for things honestly. If you want to debate me, don't sit up there and try to bring me in to a platform and you fly up under the radar saying it's all about this. When we get over there, about 10, 15 minutes, next thing you know, you're turning it into a debate. See, this is how wicked that these base-minded Negroes are today. This is how sorry they are today. I'm the type of one, I'm a leader, it's obvious, of Straightway Ministries, all right? So I ain't debating nobody but the leaders. That's it. I'm not going to fool around with all the people who are learning from these leaders, because just like I just got finished showing you, and that people just lying to you. They are gaming you, period. So even in Israel, men could not just go out and just marry a woman of another tribe for inheritance purpose and sake, depending on the situation and the status. And yet and still, they want to go out here and call these people of the tribe of Israel. And then they want to turn around and they don't even look like Israel after the flesh. No, they don't. No, they don't. And they say it's okay for you to marry him. And man, it's just nonsensical and stupid. In other words, I don't believe in that doctrine, never have, because I use self-autonomy. I know how to think independently, and I know how to read and discern. And I do have some form of intelligence. At least one thing, I know how to get free, and I know how to stay free, and I know how to not be a servant to this world. That's one thing for sure. But, you know, it's up to you. You can pick and choose who you're going to listen to. You can listen to all the nonsensical perspectives and point of views if you want to. You can remain dumb, dormant, docile, demonized, and demoralized. It's up to you. It's your prerogative. You got one life. Pick and choose wisely, but it ain't going to be me. I'm not going to, and anyone that's listening to me, we're not going to be dominated just because somebody get on the street corner. That's right. And with these ignorant anyway, and only get started. So anyway, I think I've said something and at least inspired some people to understand some things, that don't bite of this racism thing. If any man in any nation, any woman in any nation, if they fear Yah and they worketh righteousness with him, and that's the reason why when you come this way and start keeping the commandments, you will experience the sword of the Lord. You will have division in your family. And that division is designed to find out who you love. See, some of you say you love the Lord. Yeah, you love the Lord as long as everything's going good. Let's see if you really truly love the Lord. And you know how you're going to figure, you know how you're going to test that? He's going to test and prove and try your heart. He's going to call you on your hypocrisy. You see, it's easy to love him when everything is going good. But you know what? You're going to find out that a lot of your family members, a lot of your spouses are under the control and influence of Satan. And he's using them to put the screws and pressure on you to try to get you to back off from keeping them commandments. Because Jesus said, Yahshua HaMashiach said in John 14:15, if you love me, you will keep my commandments. And everybody says, well, I love him. All right, start keeping the Shabbat. And let's find out if you love him or not. That's when you're going to find out this Matthew chapter 10, verse 33 on to the end. You're going to find out the proof of that one right there. You're going to see who your foes really, truly are. And you're going to experience for the first time in your life the influence of your natural family members under the control of this unseen, unhand force of Satan. It's all up in them. In religious people. And none of them are more passionate than religious folk. It's amazing. You could have been a homosexual. You could have been a drunkard or a whoremonger. They don't come at you with the viciousness and the vigor that they do when you start keeping these commandments and living a clean life. So my admonishment is, don't do like the rest of these Christians, these hypocrites and these hypocritical so-called Edomite Israelites today, and have clean mouths and filthy lives, thinking that holiness is going to come because you put on a garment. Better put on a garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. But anyway, I know I'm inspiring a lot of people. My emails and everything else is blowing up. The phone is blowing up in the dining hall back in Tennessee because a lot of people have been set free because, you know, every time I put a video out like this, you know what happens, don't you? Somebody who has been bound by that doctrine or confused, and Yah's not the author of confusion, they would hear this clear voice, this clear sounding voice that would dissipate the cloud of distortion, and it would just fade away when the sun comes up, and they would get set free. And next thing you know, we've gained some more people for the Most High Yah to his kingdom by the truth and the true straight way coming from PastorDowell. Isn't that a beautiful thing? So don't care about what people say, especially if they are base-minded and stupid. Don't do that. Don't even waste your time. All right, I hope y'all be inspired this morning. I'm going to go ahead and get my walk in prayer in for the Most High Yah and start this day. I think, today is our last day up here in Canada. The one thing I'm not going to miss up here is them hollering-ass geese over here. They're crazy. They'll turn around, and you'll see them raise all this hell and fly all over the place, and you'll watch them bank down there at the end of this, where this bridge is, and come back hollering and screaming again, only to land back in the same spot that they started. raising all his hell. I tell you, man. Woo! Hey, y'all have a wonderful day. Shalom, shalom, shalom. The King is coming. By the way, Brother Verdon, I saw you do a left-hand salute. Are you serious, man?